I ache for the touch of your lips, dear, but much more for the touch of your whips, dear. You can raise welts like nobody else as we dance to the masochism tango.
Hi everybody and welcome to this week's episode of the A-Slut podcast. That's A-Slut, Advice, Sex, Love, Understanding and Trust. I am your host Simon Bell. Thank you for listening in. It is great to be with you all once again. Now today is something a little bit different but kind of the same. We talked to Pricey Jordan, a good friend of mine who is actually part of a polycule with a previous guest that we've had on the show, Becky, from episode 5. Where we talk about your partner has another partner. So, we have the other side of that here today. We have Jordan and Pricey, and we're going to talk about how we got involved with poly, how it feels to be one of two men with one woman, I guess. So, like we talked about in episode 5, Becky has two partners. One's Pricey, and another one he's called Mark. So, we talk about, for lack of a better term, being one of those two guys in that polycule, which brings up quite an interesting chat. We talk about how we got into poly and previous relationships that he's had as part of that, and his journey to becoming completely poly, for lack of a better term. We talk about our local poly scene, a little bit around kink as well. But yeah, it's a really interesting chat. It's something that I really enjoyed as part of that. So yeah, we'll get into that in a moment. What's happening with me? I was a guest on another podcast. I talked about it last episode with Devin. I'll talk about it here again now because it is now live, which is exciting. The podcast is called Swinging Down Under. You can find it at swingingdownunder.com. You can find them on Twitter at swingingdownunder. The links will be in the show notes for this as well, as it was for last week. And that was a really cool thing to sort of get on board with. While I'm not so much of a swinger myself, I am polyamorous, which lends itself to the swinging side of things. I have had kink play partners in the past. But we talked more about how New Zealand is in the world when it comes to how progressive New Zealand is, how sexuality is viewed over here, the age of consent when I lost my virginity, all of this sort of different stuff. So it was really cool to do that. And C&D are fantastic podcasters, fantastic hosts, really know what they're doing, completely professional. Even if some of the chat wasn't. There's a lot of Star Wars references in there, so yeah, I do really hope that you'll go and check that out and give that a listen as well. That's Swinging Down Under. It's at Swing Down Under on Twitter, swingingdownunder.com if you want to listen to that as well. Now, speaking of websites and Twitter and all of that sort of stuff, you can contact me. I do have a Q&A episode coming up. I would greatly appreciate more input to that. I do have a fair amount to go through, but sometimes too much is never enough, and I need to make sure that my episodes do go the distance. So you can contact me on Twitter at the A-Slut Podcast, Facebook as well, the same handle, the A-Slut Podcast, or you can email through at the A-Slut Podcast at gmail.com. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. I do really hope that everybody gets on board with that. And for the moment now, I will give you a nice bit of music that I found, and we'll launch into the interview with Pricey. Enjoy.
Sitting near an old tree, watching birds fly by once and in a while. Holding hands with Susie too, she's got the greatest smile. Watching birds fly by once and in a while.
Okay, welcome Pricey, welcome to the podcast. How are you?
I'm very good. It's good to be here.
Yeah, thank you for coming in. It's an interesting sort of dynamic that we've got here today. Obviously, one of your partners has been on here before, Becky. So now we're sort of seeing the other side of it all, really, aren't we? So before we get too heavy into anything, tell us a wee bit about yourself.
From school, I've been Christchurch most of my life. Concreter by day and a topless waiter by night. I've been practicing polyamory for probably the best part of that 3 years now.
So, cool. This was going to be my first question because I wasn't too sure about this. Were you poly before Becky, or was Becky your first serious relationship?
Yeah, that's an interesting one. So, I guess officially I was aware of the terminology upon meeting Becky, but prior to that, I guess I'd always kind of wanted in sort of situation in my relationship anyway, which, to be fair, did see the fall through of my most previous long-term partner.
Right.
The eye to eye on that.
Yeah. So, how does that discussion come up with the previous partner? Because you're aware of it, it's something that you sort of wanted.
Yeah. So, I don't know, we've been steady for ages and ages, never fine. I was working through the work over in the States, and I was going to be over there for quite some time. I think I was there for 3 months, and sort of in time in between, we just got to messaging, sort of like, so, we're both consenting adults, we, have certain needs kind of thing, can we sort of just agree that if anything happens on tour, sort of stays on tour, sort of likewise for you back home kind of thing. And she was like, yeah, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
So her and I both did end up living with different partners whilst we were both away. And then sort of got back to Christchurch and sort of like, okay, I think we're both pretty comfortable in our own skins. Do we continue this? So we sort of set up a wee joint Tinder account, looking for a third, which is very typical of couples looking to open their relationships.
Yep. And was it a male or a female you're after?
At that time, female, because I don't know how comfortable she was with having 2 guys at the same time, and I was at the time very insecure about that. And yeah, so I got to messaging a couple of different women, and it was sort of fine, and then it just didn't really amount to much. And then she told them to go home from the pub without me knowing, that it sort of unannounced. And yeah, she hit the fan pretty quick. Yeah.
And that's where so many people, I think, have a view of that. To me, sounded more like an open relationship as opposed to polyamory. It's still under the non-monogamy umbrella.
Yeah.
And this is where I think a lot of people who aren't in the lifestyle, for lack of a better term, sit there and they go, oh, these poly people, these people with open relationships, blah, blah, blah. They're just sluts who'll sleep with anyone and they don't, there's no moral compass or anything like that. And the way that you've just explained this, I really like, is the fact that she brought this guy home without you knowing, and that's what the issue was. It wasn't the fact that she brought him home, it was the fact that she didn't tell you what was going on. Is that right?
More or less. So we were sort of at a point where we were like, okay, we're comfortable enough to live together, as partners, but, if say, for example, something like it did pop up, drinks flowing, getting a bit flirty, and you do want to take someone home or go home again, we sort of had an agreement that, either one of us would be notified, either via text, phone call, something like that.
And this was before the action, or?
This was before the action, and then, got no word of it. Just by this stage, I'd taken on what was here, and at the time, in the flirting situation we're in.
Right.
And sort of woke up in the morning was like, not impressed,
Yeah.
Not impressed. I mean, it wasn't so much the fact that, she was going out in a good time, and was like, okay, so a few guys, she kind of wanted to see where it went. Maybe it was going to be a one-night stand, who knew? But it was more the fact that there was no contact.
Yeah.
And, the communication breakdown, I think, was the main issue of it, really.
Yeah, sure. So, was that the end straight away, or?
It got a lot messier than that.
Oh dear. we won't go too much into that.
Maybe not.
we'll keep that out of it. So, you noted on the fact that it was a woman, that you it wasn't so much a bad thing if it was a guy either. Are you straight? Are you bi? Are you?
At this point, I'm not really 100% sure how I identify exactly.
Right.
Like, I would say for the best part, I'm at least 90% heterosexual.
Right.
But I mean, hell, Adam Lambert comes tapping on my door one night, and I wouldn't say no. Like,
I'm straight out bi, but if I had Brandon Urie knocking on anywhere,
hell yeah.
singing from Panic at the Disco, I think I'd actually just come on the spot, to be honest, because my big things when it comes to people and being attracted to them is intelligence and talent.
Oh, for sure.
Those are two things that they get my juices going straight away, and whew, that man, I tell you.
Oh no, he's well talented and he's a very attractive guy too.
I'm kind of worried. I'm hopefully still going up to see them in October.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's touring. Yeah.
Yeah. And if I do make it, I'm kind of worried about how I'll act if I'm anywhere near the front of the
whole screaming groupie up the front, eyes rolling in your head.
And you know, I'm not a small guy. I'm 115, 120 kilos. For those in America, I know there's a lot of American people listening. That's about 250, 260 pounds of just giant hunk of man fangirling after this guy who's probably about maybe 190, 200 pounds at most.
He's not a real big guy, is he?
No, but he's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So we've sort of gone through a whole bunch of the questions that I had lined up already. Like were you poly before Becky? Kind of, but not
sort of. But none of this.
So the question I have going from here is obviously Becky's been polyamorous for a fair while, and you were aware of that going into this relationship?
Yeah, that was sort of an interesting one. So her and I met years and years ago. I was 18, actually, at a pub. We were just tapping on the shoulder. Hey, can I have your number? And I was sort of like,
okay.
This whole older chick wants my number. Sure, take it. Yeah. And then, so that was fine. And then we were sort of, I don't know, I guess friends with benefits for lack of a better word, for on and off for, I don't know, maybe 2 or so years after that. And then went mono for a while there and lost contact and, got back into contact again. And
so she had a partner at the time that you were friends with benefits, so you knew at that point? She wasn't?
I don't know if she did, but I was aware that she was seeing other men at the time.
Right, okay.
Which, with me also seeing a couple other women at the time, was like, okay.
It all worked out alright.
Yeah, it all worked out fine.
Yeah.
As long as we were safe about it, it was no deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then sort of got hanging out again, and the old flame sparked pretty quickly, and we sort of picked up where we left off.
Except instead of just having sex, it's developed into a full relationship now.
Exactly right. With going into that, it's just like we sat down and had a bit of a chat, and she was like, "Hey, so I do have a boyfriend. We've been together for a bit over a year now. He's aware of my often promiscuous ways and is fine with that, provided that the other partners are fine with that too." Sort of thing.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well, that sounds fine, so long as everything's all above board with communication, paramount, of course. Then I don't see why there needs to be an issue.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Sort of just went from there.
Sure. And you and her other partner get along quite well, don't you?
Oh yeah, I haven't got a bad thing to say about it, Joe. It's fantastic.
I've got it. Not going to lie, neither do I.
Yeah.
I think he's a top-notch guy. Because obviously I know all of you reasonably well through kink scenes and through poly scenes and all sorts of different stuff. And we've hung out a couple of times. We've gone to a driving range before. On a side note, your golf swing is fucking atrocious.
Yeah, sure.
Mind you, mine wasn't much better on that day.
Yeah, well, not that fun to it again, sure.
Yeah, so going into a full-blown poly relationship, which is slightly different to what you had done in the past. You had an inkling of it, but stepping into this full-blown sort of thing. And you said that you were a little bit insecure about other men coming into your relationship earlier. What have you learned about yourself moving into this polycule that you found yourself in now? Is there anything that sort of sticks out and went, this is what's changed? This is something that I had to get over.
Oh yeah,
et cetera, et cetera.
He's just changed. Like a lot of it was, realizing the whole bullshit ego of the New Zealand mandem society. Really.
Shit, yes.
Which, I mean, yeah, it took me a while to click onto it, but certainly not as long as others you see around, but, that's their deal. So yeah, I guess the considerable amount of that was realizing that and obviously noting that why. What's the need to feel insecure about, other men? I think through this, polyamorous adventure, I guess, have learned quite a bit about myself and obviously the relationship dynamic too.
Sure.
Yeah, and communication, I guess, is key at the end of it.
That's going to be a revolving theme in us talking today, because we both know and we're both experienced enough within polyamory or non-monogamy to know that. Well, it's not even that. It's even in monogamous relationships, there needs to be a pretty decent level of communication.
For sure.
But stepping into non-monogamy, there needs to be even more, because you're sitting there and you're going, okay, I'm going to go and do this with this person tonight.
Mm-hmm.
You cool with that? 99 times out of 100, you're sitting there and go, yeah, that's fine. Yeah. You've told me, awesome, sweet.
Right.
And something as little as that, I think, can be can quite easily be overlooked, I guess. When it comes to something like that, I've made mistakes like that in the past. I kissed. I thought it was nothing, but my partner at the time didn't.
Yeah, right.
And that's a mistake that I've made, because it's, hey, I kissed this woman. It would have been okay, sweet, no worries. And that was misconstruing on my part, thinking that it's a nothing thing.
Yeah.
And so, have you had anything like that?
Oh, for sure. My God. How long do you know? Fuck up these.
Yeah, we all do. And again, we're going to use this word communication. That's where communication does come into it. If you fuck up, you make the first move, don't you? You sit there and go, hey, babe, whatever you want to call your partner, this happened. I fucked up. I'm sorry. And if the partner you're with is mature enough, which I know Becky is, I've known her for a number of years now, she'll sit there and go, okay, I forgive you, it's happened, thank you for telling me. Sure, you might have a little bit of a headbutt about it and go, that's not on.
Yeah.
But it's still sitting there going, realising that people are people. They're not going to always be perfect. They're not going to sit there and toe the line the whole entire way, because shit happens.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, now I think I don't know if I'd call it a slip up as such, but definitely a miscommunication. So I slept with a woman recently, sort of unannounced, which I guess had I better communicated prior to that happening, then there definitely would have been less reason for upset. But then there's the positive spin on everything. It's like, okay, yeah, so things didn't quite go as well as they should have in this particular scenario. What can I learn from this?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's the what can I learn part.
Exactly right.
Improves who you are as a person.
Oh, for sure. I mean, not only is it both a character building quality, it also helps strengthen a relationship. Is you get to know your partner better, or partners better by going through the rush of it, I guess, and sitting down, even if it means having a night apart and then having a night together, you sit down with a cuppa or whatever and just be like, hey, so what's up, how do you feel about it, how can we process it?
And I think in part that has to have a base level of maturity on both sides as well. I'll say emotional maturity as opposed to just maturity in general, because you can have a 40-year-old who acts like a 12-year-old. They're technically mature, but they're not. So I'm going to say emotional mature, know how your feelings are and going through that to be able to portray that and then have that discussion with your partner.
Yeah, exactly.
Because my last poly relationship, I'm single again now, so my last poly relationship, it was slightly different to yours in that I didn't need to be told beforehand, and neither did they. Right. As long as told that something's happened. If they found out that it hadn't, like for example, my kiss scenario, she questioned me about it. I said, the only thing we did was kiss. I didn't think it was a big deal. She said, well, I think it was. That's the miscommunication there. And we went, okay, this has happened. Let's fix this now. This happened. I'm sorry. Now I know exactly where we are on that spectrum. Cool. That line's drawn. Now I know if anything happens in the future, that's where it needs to be said.
Exactly right.
So it's and this is something that I always want to touch on, and I'll probably say it a whole bunch through this series of podcasts, is that no two poly relationships are the same. No two swinger relationships are the same. Everyone's going to have their little nuances that are going to be different. There's no, you have to do poly this way.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's like anything. There is no one size fits all.
Right.
I mean, how if everyone...
Especially when it involves humans. It involves people.
Exactly right, because everyone thinks differently, and people potentially carrying baggage from other relationships, which is why they are the way they are. Yeah. Which, if you value a relationship, you want to be able to work on it. Sort of like the theory of, you don't fix a broken light bulb by buying a new house.
That's a great saying.
Yeah.
I've not heard that before. That's fantastic.
It's original. You're welcome to keep it.
No, that's really, really cool. So, with obviously moving from more of an open to poly sort of situation, with somebody who's been poly for a long time, did you look to her partner to learn things about this poly thing, or did you look to her, or did you have any sources or anything that you were looking through while you were going through this?
I guess most of it is just learned vicariously through her. I mean, not like necessarily call her a poly professional as such, but certainly has a lot more proven tree in the regard that I do. But yeah, I guess there has been times when I sort of, sought some sort of wise counsel from her other partner, a bit more. I guess basically a lot of it is maintaining the communication and realizing how it is that your brain works and owning your emotions. The whole owning your shit kind of thing.
Now, I wanted to talk to you about this because I can't remember if you were there actually. I think you were there for part of it. We had the discussion night at a social club with the poly group in Christchurch.
Oh yeah.
And we talked about jealousy and owning your own jealousy and whatnot from there.
It was a good night. It was a great turnout actually.
Yeah, it was
really stoked.
Really big turnout.
Yeah.
Which was unexpected at the time. We ended up having to split into two, which we weren't planning on.
Yeah.
But the part that I want to talk about with the jealousy thing, and this is something that I've always thought myself, and I think I actually thought this point up, is that jealousy is not an emotion.
Okay.
Jealousy is a whole bunch of different emotions that create this big cloud, almost like a brainstorm where you put jealousy in the middle and there's all these feelings like anger, pain, all of this sort of stuff. And for me, it's about breaking down why you're feeling jealous and what emotions you're getting from that and why those emotions come through.
Oh, exactly.
And that's how I work through my shit and owning my shit. Is I'll sit there and I'll break down the whole fucking thing because I'm an overthinker. Oh. And I'll sit there and go, okay, I felt this way because this person did this, but why am I hurt when she still came back to my house instead of going and doing this? And for me, it was a long journey for me because I've been poly for 5 years-ish now, I guess. And I was a horrendously jealous person beforehand. Horrendously. I was not a good person in any way, shape or form, looking back on it. And I've said that a few times.
Come on now, you've always been a sweetheart.
I really haven't. The way that I treated women through university and before that was beyond atrocious. So I'm glad that I've moved on from that and I'm a lot better person right now. But back then I also didn't think this way either. And even through the start of my poly journey, it was the same sort of thing. Right. Where I wasn't thinking about why I was feeling that way. I was letting my emotions rule me rather than me ruling my emotions. And what it sort of turned into now is these feelings of jealousy, of anger, of hatred, of pain have done like a full circle and are now part of my compersion.
Yeah, I can relate to that.
So we've talked about compersion briefly on this podcast before, but for those that don't know, it's a relatively new word, especially in this sense. It's feeling happiness for your partner being happy. Yeah. Isn't it?
Pretty much.
So these feelings that were hate, anger, this person's off, what's this other person giving my partner that I can't, to, oh, my partner's off and having fun and she's being pleased and everything's great, she's going to come back to me and it's going to be fantastic. Exactly. And she's happy, I'm happy that she's happy and she's doing her thing. And that was a big, big change for me. It was a complete 180.
Oh, yeah.
Did you feel that you had that sort of thing, especially because I wanted to touch back on the insecurities that you have with the male sort of thing? Has that sort of come around for you that way as well?
Oh, for sure. Like I can recall, for instance, previous partner that my partner had maybe 6 months ago. Sadly, they did break up, and it's only now that I can say sadly because he was actually a really cool dude, and they were very happy for the time that they were. But yeah, no, there definitely was a bit of I guess insecurity and envy-based jealousy around the relationship initially. I do recall a particular instance that was prompted by a post on Facebook. A picture of the two of them, I don't know, out on some sort of adventure amongst caves and coves and all that kind of stuff.
Awesome.
And I was just like, that asshole. What a dick. How dare he? But then I guess, I took a step back and, realised that it was jealousy, but why was it jealousy? It was, a lot of it, I guess, was envy of, oh, that wanker beat me to the punch kind of thing. I really wanted to go and do something like this as well. But I guess turning full circle on that particular instance was like, okay, yeah, sure, there's still plenty of time for me to go caving with my partner if I choose. Yeah. And, good on her for going and making the most of the relationship she had. Yeah. I'm glad that she had a good day. I can see a smile on her face. Same with him. And, they're out having a good time. Like, I'm genuinely stoked for her. And she, came back and leaving the following night and, explained what they'd been up to and that he's a really cool guy and gets along well with some of his friends. And I was, actually had a genuine smile on my face. Like, well, actually, I'm stoked. So I'm glad you've gone out and had a good time with this dude.
So that's kind of great because it was a very quick turnaround in that instance.
Yeah, luckily.
And it was the inward thinking of yourself that sort of went, this isn't right. I shouldn't be feeling like this guy's an asshole when my partner's got a fucking smile as wide as the fucking Golden Gate Bridge on her face.
Exactly.
No, so yeah, for me, there's nothing better than seeing my partner,
oh, for sure,
whoever it is at any given time, if they're smiling, I sit there, I can't help but smile.
It's contagious, right?
And it is contagious, and I think emotions in general are contagious. And that comes into what is true empathy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because obviously empathy is, you feel sorry for someone when something's happened or whatever. But empathy isn't just about feeling sorry for somebody. It's about feeling what they're feeling, regardless of what they're emoting.
Okay.
And I think compersion comes into that quite a bit.
Yeah,
you're seeing your partner happy and you're happy for them. So that's being empathetic to that situation because you've got a similar emotion.
Yeah.
And I think empathy gets a bad rap because people think
commonly associated with negative feelings.
Yeah, but that's what sympathy is.
Yeah, true.
That's sympathy. Empathy is basically a continuation of the same emotion, a common emotion between two or more parties or whatever.
Right.
So I think a wee bit differently. Feel free to tell me I'm completely fucking wrong.
No, that's fine. I'm not going to correct you. And how the way you think is the way you think, and that's what I think is both amazing and unique about you. To be fair. And
I do have a strange way of thinking at the best of times.
Yeah, well, but I mean, it's everyone's little differences which creates the uniqueness in an interesting environment to be in. I mean, hell, it's been probably about as interesting as it can be in my life with this whole polyamorous lifestyle and with King too. I mean, hell, if I were to like tap an 18-year-old self on the shoulder and be like, "This is what you're going to be up to in a few years' time," I would have shat my pants. Really.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, hell, I couldn't be happier.
Yeah, and that's what it comes down to, man. You do what makes you happy, right? Who gives a fuck what the rest of the world think? Who gives a fuck about these right-wing conservatives that sit there and go, blah, 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 blah. And which I find it really funny that right-wingers do that because they're based off polygamy, which is multiple marriages. If you look at, I think is it Utah? Okay. That still have polygamy as legal.
Oh yeah.
Legalized polygamy. I think it's Utah. I'm not up on my American marriage laws. Sorry, team, but I do believe that it is Utah that do that, and that's because they're Mormon based. And part of the Mormon thing is to be able to have multiple wives, etc., whatever. That's their prerogative. But I just think it's funny that right wings sit there and go, "Oh, you can't have more than one relationship. You can only have sex with one gender."
You can have 6 wives.
Yeah. yeah. Politics.
Yeah, well.
So you touched on it quickly there. Is the kink side of things that you're involved in now? Were you always on the kinky side of things, or did Becky pull that out of you as well?
Well, no. I think it was definitely explored it more with her, given that she's also similarly inclined. And also given the fact that we have been together for quite a while now. But I guess I think I came to more of a realization with that with my most previous long-term partner, and then also with I guess a rebound partner in between.
Right.
Yeah, that was an interesting situation. That was a Halloween party. I was cross-dressing for a laugh.
Was I at this party? Or was
I don't know. You might have been.
yeah, who knows? It's a while ago.
I don't know. Christchurch is more. I've got it now. Anyway, so yeah, I was Christchurch at the time because I was like, well, in part because my sister was like, I dare you to go to the Disney Princess, and I was like, fuck it. So,
Okay.
So I got online, and so go to Disney Princess. So yeah, I went to this party dressed as Ariel, the Little Mermaid.
Yes.
Had a fully custom made suit and everything.
That's ideal.
Oh, it was fantastic. I ended up winning best dress at the pub later on that night. It was a great night. Anyhow, so
I've done that more than once.
yeah. So there's a group of us, and we end up in the bedroom, and this woman whose name I won't name right now because definitely about.
Yeah, sure.
Anyway,
We tend not to on here anyway.
Yeah. So anyway, lock eyes and. I'm like, oh yeah.
How you doing?
She's looking alright, and she's sort of looking me up and down like, what the fuck is this getting a mermaid outfit? And then I just happen to like glance over, and she's got this like massive, luxurious looking bed set with a great big wrought iron headboard covered in like all kinds of like shackles and restraints, and I'm like,
Okay.
you guys carry on, sort of thing. Yeah, got to talking with her, and I guess that's sort of where I got more into things from there on, with a bit of restraint and paddling and that sort of stuff with her was sort of my, I guess, kinky debut.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there on, getting into the life of my current partner.
Yep.
So yeah, that's I think that's going back maybe 3 years ago, I guess. And then
Was the initial lock?
Yeah, and then more so becoming involved in the local thing in the last, I don't know, what, year and a half?
Year and a half,
so?
yeah.
Yeah,
I was going to say that because I've been 2.5.
Yeah.
Although I haven't been too much within the last 7 or 8 months.
Yeah, I've sort of dropped off a bit as well, but I like this kind of time in the day with working 2 jobs.
Yeah, I'm exactly with you. I work 2 jobs as well, so
Yeah.
65, 75 hours a week. By the end of that, you just sit there and you go, you know what? Nah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna sleep.
Yeah. I take my feet out, have a beer, I'm going to go to
Yep, too fucking right. So it started with restraints and paddling and that sort of stuff. What has it moved on to for you? Is it more of the same or?
I don't know, like I guess the multi-potentialite myself was sort of like, fuck, I'm gonna go balls deep and try a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, since then I've gone on to.
I'll rephrase. What are your more enjoyable sides of things?
Okay. I guess my preferred forms of play going forth from that are probably impact, sensory deprivation. I do still enjoy some restraint, like ropes and that. Bit of electro if it's on the menu.
I never would have thought.
Right.
So I do need to explain that because one thing I don't like on podcasts is inside jokes.
Yeah.
That people listening just don't have a clue about. They're sitting there going, "There's something happened there, there's something not." So
Yeah, go on.
I am very much into electro.
No, for sure.
I have a fair few electro toys, which you've played with as well because I've loaned Becky my toys a few times. I think I've even used it on you before as well.
Yeah, I think a couple of times at some of my public play parties.
Yeah. But it's not been a sexual thing there though. It's been these are the different things you can do because I'm a little bit more experienced in what things in that when it comes to electro. So it was more a learning thing rather than a kink or sexual thing. But so that's where that inside joke comes from.
Yeah.
Where when it comes to electro, I'm an absolute fucking nut for it. And I've been talking to a guy up north who you may have heard of him. I won't name names because I haven't got permission to. But he's got a whole bunch of early 1900s electro gear.
Oh, wow.
Which is really, really cool. And I'm sitting there going, if ever you want to get rid of any,
you
want to get rid of any, just let me know, mate. Just let me know.
Into the vintage electro aesthetic.
Yeah, which would be really, really cool. It'd be so cool. You know, from memory, I think he has an actual hysteria machine.
Wow.
So, for those that don't know, hysteria used to be cured by sexual stimulation, basically. So women used to have this inverted quotation marks hysteria, which got cured by orgasm. The hysteria that you go mental and giddy and all over the place, and then you have an orgasm. So much better. It's, looking at that now, you just sit there and go, shit.
Who knew?
Girls get horny.
People get rid of it, don't get money.
What a fucking shock that is. So, yeah, and he was at the last fetish ball.
Okay.
Last one before. I can't remember the last one I went to.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, and he was, must have been the one before because I was still with my previous ex at the time. Yeah, anyway, regardless. And he had all of this different, like he had massages and stuff, but it was all electro stuff, and I'm just sitting there going, this is,
You might get in the candy store, wouldn't you?
Well, I didn't play with any of it because I didn't know it, for starters,
right.
and I need to learn things, especially when it comes to, you know, electricity coursing through your body.
Yeah,
it's not something you can really fuck around with because it can get dangerous.
Oh, for sure.
I was picking the brains of a person who, he ran an electro workshop here a few years ago, which is how I got into it. I simulated childbirth through the TENS pads.
Oh, right.
And that's how I got into it. So I was picking his brains a lot when I first started, just to make sure I was doing things right.
Yeah.
Like one of the main ones, especially when it comes to TENS, that people don't understand, and I think I've said this before on the podcast as well. I can't remember. But 2 TENS pads, the current runs between them, so it doesn't run through. Exactly.
Yeah.
So you've got to be really careful about putting one on one side of your chest and one on the other, because that's going straight across all the vital organs.
What is it crossing your head?
Exactly. But a lot of people who don't understand electricity wouldn't think about that sort of thing. They just think it's pulsing in the centralized parts where the pads are. It's not a circuit going through from one pad to the other. And I have read about horror stories around that sort of thing, especially because my TENS machine is a little bit strong.
Yeah, it's up there.
It's up there. I mean, it cost me a fucking fortune. I hope it's up there.
Yeah, well.
So if you think of something like that running through vital organs, it can genuinely cause a heart attack and heart palpitations. So education around this sort of thing is a massive thing as well. And the same with rope as well.
Yeah.
You can cut off arteries with rope. And this is why I'm not a rope guy.
No.
I have the unfortunate combination of being both a perfectionist and being impatient.
Yeah, probably two qualities that you don't really want to carry with rope.
Exactly. Well, perfectionist isn't so bad, but when you put it with impatient, you want to go out and you want to do the thing because you think you've got it, but you don't. And then shit goes wrong and somebody gets hurt, and then your reputation goes down as well.
Exactly.
And we're in a small town.
No, it doesn't take long for word to spread.
Exactly, there's 400,000 people here. And you think of how many of those are actually in the local king scene. There's very, very few comparatively
It's a very
speaking.
niche group, really.
Yeah. So if your reputation, and my reputation's taken a hammering over time. I've made mistakes, but I've always, as we've said before, owned my shit.
Yeah, exactly.
I've always put my hands up and goes, look, I did fuck up. I've learned from that. Let's move on. And to be fair, for the majority of it, people have seen that and gone, okay, cool. Let's continue on. And I have no idea where we started with this conversation. I've just gone on and talked a whole bunch.
Something about pink debuts and sort of employment
Yeah, that's
and
right.
that sort of carry on. And then I turned into electro and
then I went dirty.
And of course you was like, oh, electro, I'm getting involved.
Never a truer word spoken. So, yeah, obviously a little bit of electro. Is there anything else that is high on your list?
Strangely, well, not strangely, I mean, wow, to anyone exceedingly vanilla, most of this would be strange. However, I guess more into CBT than I thought I would.
Okay. So, for those that don't know...
Cock and ball torture,
Yeah.
Which, I guess, isn't quite as brutal as it sounds. Well, unless you want it. Yeah.
So, with that, you're talking pegs, stuff attached to genitalia, or...?
Yeah, then, like, we recently experimented with a sort of rigging electro CBT kind of a combination, which involved my hands being bound above my head, a rope running between my groin, around my testes and penis, and then being attacked with a really violent one sort of thing, which of course made me react and pulls on what's attached to the rope, and yeah.
That sounds amazing. That sounds like a great
It was fantastic. Yeah. Yeah.
That's something that I would do quite a lot.
By all means.
When you've got it. With me, again, a lot of people think I'm a dominant. I do actually switch.
Oh yeah?
But I'm very careful about who I'm bottoming or subbing for.
Fair.
Because I'm naturally dominant, but I do like my submissive side. I have very high expectations when I'm bottoming or when I'm subbing
I
around
suppose you would, yeah.
how things need to be done. Because I have a 19-page checklist for people to fill out with
That's
my
pretty
paying for.
extensive.
Yeah, it's nothing horrendous. It's just it'll have anal play, have done, will do again, no thanks, to try, and they tick a box.
Comment.
Yeah, exactly. And it's enough to know what they're into, what they're not, etc., etc. So, in that sort of thing, it makes it a lot easier.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, you've already got a fairly clear indication of your potential partner's boundaries. You know what they're into, what they aren't, and where there are overlapping similarities between you and your partner. So you can work together to really have a good time and have a fun and successful.
And scenes can go wrong.
They can.
I've had scenes go wrong.
I've watched a scene go wrong.
And it can be pretty harrowing to watch at times.
Yeah.
But this is why you have your safe words. That's part of that. For anybody who might be listening to this who's new to King, get a goddamn safe word. Use it. Don't be ashamed. Don't think that you're not good enough because you've had to say your safe word. It's there for a reason. It's there to keep you safe. It's there so you can enjoy yourself, not go beyond what your capabilities are.
If you can't think of a decent safe word, just use safe word. It's pretty synonymous.
You're not going to scream safe word in the middle of fucking someone, or unless it's actually the safe word. I personally use a traffic light.
Yeah, the traffic light system works. Yeah.
So red means complete stop. This is ending now. Yellow is please slow down, or I need a break, or just ease off a little bit. But as soon as that red goes, it's boom, stop, and I'm hugging the person pretty much straight away. Just purely to make sure that they're okay. Because some of my scenes can be pretty heavy. There was one, it was one of my last ones after I broke up with not my recent ex before, and I was playing with somebody who was at a new venue on the east side of town. I don't think you were there, but that was a heavy scene. She was on a spanking horse, and she had 10s on the inside of her thighs and on her butt. So if you think of travelling from the inside of her thigh to the butt and on the other side as well.
A lot of crotchal and electricity going on.
Yeah, which is stimulating and with my TENS machine can be quite painful.
Yeah, it can be because it is quite high power.
Yeah, but this was somebody I played with quite a few times. She was actually, I can say her name because she's been on this podcast before. It was Lauren. Yeah. And I was using my crop, my cane, my hands. Her hair was being yanked quite a bit, and there was actually tears down her face. It fucking was. Let me tell you, it's up there with one of the best things I've ever had. I'm not gonna lie, just because there was so much going on, but it all fit in with each other. And it was just glorious. And so there's tears running down her eyes, and I kept asking, "Is everything fine?" I'm always that guy. As much as I'm a showman, and I am a showman.
Yeah, for sure.
I like adding the theatrical part of my performances and that sort of thing. Like my scene for Phantom of the Opera, where I did that as well. But during this, I'm always careful to keep in touch with the person that I'm playing with during the scene, and I was going to talk to you about consent as well. Consent can change at any moment.
Oh, for sure.
Any fucking moment.
You can be withdrawn too.
Yeah, you can be mid thrust, and they'll say the safe word. You fucking stop at that point.
Exactly.
Even if it's just a vanilla sex, and they go, "No, stop, get off me." You fucking stop at that point.
No, you stop what you're doing.
And just because they've given consent before you started doing that does not mean it cannot be withdrawn while you're doing it. And this is such a fucking huge thing because I still think in this age a lot of guys don't believe that. They think, well, maybe not a lot of guys, but there's still a number of
there's certainly a majority
that think that she's already consented to this. It's okay. She's already said yes. I'm going to keep going.
Yeah, well,
you're a fucking rapist.
Well, I mean, exactly right. I mean, consent can be withdrawn. I mean, all well and good that it's hot and heavy at the beginning of everyone's doing it, but as soon as your partner says no or stop, that's a pretty clear indication. Whatever you're up to needs to stop now. And
again, we go back to safe words. This is why safe words are there.
Exactly.
Because I don't know about you, but I scream no and stop quite a bit sometimes if I'm bottoming in a scene. Or I use my numbers.
Yeah,
the numbers seen as how much it's hurting or whatnot.
Do you use 1 to 5 or 1 to 10?
Depending on who I'm with.
Yeah,
it's negotiated before I'm doing it. I've done both. But it's, again, it's negotiated. This is what we're doing. This is how we're doing it.
Pre-negotiated with the
Exactly. And even then, if it gets too hard during that, if it gets above what you think your 5 or your 10 is, you stop that right there. Fucking
exactly.
And part of the reason I started this podcast, and I'll say this every fucking episode, is young men especially don't learn this sort of stuff in schools. They don't learn that consent can be withdrawn at times, and consent can be coerced, and that saying, "Oh yeah, you can do it if you want," is not consent for me.
Not really.
For me,
no. It's I'm letting you do this because I feel obligated.
Yeah, which is a form of coercion.
Pretty much.
The only way I will do something is enthusiastic.
No.
It's not even just a, yeah, let's do that. I won't do it if they say that. It's got to be, fuck yes, let's fucking do it.
Oh, exactly. It isn't a more clear yes than that, is it?
Exactly. And that's when you can be certain. And this is also why I don't do anything when alcohol is involved. If I'm drinking or if the other person's drinking, especially when the other person's drinking.
Yeah, most definitely.
Because I know where my headspace is at. If I've had a beer, 2 beers, anything more than that I probably won't.
Yeah.
But I don't know where the other person's headspace is at. And that's where it can get dangerous as well. And this is why the last maybe 3 years I've not had drunken sex.
That's it.
Because I don't feel that the person I'm with, whether male or female, there's been males as well, I don't feel as though they have the cognitive capacity to actually agree with what they're doing.
Sure.
Or potentially don't have the cognitive capacity to be able to do that. To be able to sit there and go, yes, I really, really want this. Fuck yes, do me. Or whatever. There's still that implant of doubt in my mind when alcohol's involved. And I can't bring myself to do that. Back in the day when, whatever.
Smashed up your tits, wake up.
Exactly.
Wake up next to someone, hey, that was a good time, what do you make of it?
Yeah, exactly. And what you've just said is a fucking scary situation.
I recall years ago I don't recall being drunk. I recall waking up next to my, at the time, girlfriend's best mate, shirtless, in her spare bed, with dry vomit down my chin. Real classy.
Beautiful.
Oh, it was...
I've done that before as well, actually.
Dave's just breaking it, and it's blinding, man. You can feel your corners literally trying to separate. I sort of roll over, and here she is, and I'm like, I have absolutely no recollection of what happened last night. Holy fuck.
And did she?
She didn't either, which was the scary thing. So I sort of rolled over and was like, I don't know you. Oh fuck, did anything happen last night? I don't know. To this day, I still don't know. And that's scary.
That's scary. What would have been scary for me, and this is something that's not talked about so much either, if she did remember and she did know what happened. Because you put the shoe on the other foot, you put that the other way around.
Oh,
the guy remembers, the girl doesn't. That'll get blown up to fucking Africa.
No, for sure.
And rightly so. I have no issue with that. But I do still believe that if it is the way that I've just said, where the girl remembers, the guy doesn't, that should get blown up as well, because that is still... For me, that's still rape.
Well, regardless of sex or gender, rape is rape regardless.
Yes. Fucking A right. We've gotten pretty deep there.
Sure have.
Let's try and lighten this up a bit. Actually, no, before we do, were you taught about this kind of consent by parents, schooling, anything like that? Or was it just...
Honestly, the sad thing is not much.
So it's the same, because we're a similar sort of, it's 4 years ago, you're 24?
Yeah.
That's 4 years ago, so it's around the same sort of age.
Yeah. Which I think my main recollection from, I think it was health and sex ed, that sort of start of high school, was if she's wet, she's good to go, which isn't necessarily the right thing.
And I'm guessing you had a male teacher.
No, actually, this wasn't.
What the fuck?
Yeah, so this was a woman phys ed teacher, which that was...
Did she have rape fantasies, or...?
Fuck. I don't know, like, she could have been the type thinking back. You never know.
Rape fantasies are different than rape people. Consensual, what is it? consensual non-consent
Yeah, consensual
is a fun fucking thing for me.
And it sure can be, but provided everyone's on board and it's consented prior and parameters have been set.
Yeah, exactly.
And with that said, consent can still be withdrawn at any point,
Fucking
comes back to the safe word.
Yeah.
Anyhow, it was. I think it was something along the lines of if the woman isn't self-lubricating and enthusiastic about the situation, then it's not going to be good.
So what happens if she's lubricated and not enthusiastic?
Well, that sort of reminded me of a conversation I had with another partner, which was, I think the word was sexual cognitive dissociation.
Right.
Which basically was tied in with an article she read a while ago saying where, a woman had just finished a scene, like, might have been a blog on FetLife or something.
Mm-hmm.
A woman had just finished up a scene and her dominant, a male, was quite keen to finish the scene with intercourse. Which, fair enough, some scenes go that way, and if it's feeling good, then why not?
Yeah, sure.
So there have been supposedly quite a bit of heavy paddling and flogging around the crotchal and buttocks area. Cool. And by the time that was sort of coming to an end, she was like, okay, sweet, you can unchat for me. We'll have a little bit of downtime. Where he sort of stepped in with, but you're soaking wet. Usually we finish with sex. What's going on? Which that, I guess, was the sexual disassociation of it was, she was self-lubricated and her body wanted it, but her mind didn't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah.
And the mind's the one that matters here.
For sure. I mean, your brain's the biggest sex organ you have.
Oh, shit.
And, if the brain isn't on board, regardless of what the rest of your body is up to, then
it shouldn't be happening.
It shouldn't be happening, exactly right. So, regardless of what that teacher said years ago, if she isn't wet, that doesn't mean dig in. Sort of thing,
Yeah, fucking hell. That's scary that a teacher's said that.
Yeah.
No matter the day or age or anything, the fact that a teacher who sculpts the minds of young humans is saying, if she's wet, she's good.
Pretty much.
That's fucking terrifying.
Pretty much.
Because growing up in Brisbane, like I did, we had nothing.
Not at all.
Nothing around consent.
That's awful.
Yeah, it was, if she says no, don't do it.
Well, I mean,
which is,
that's fairly
I
obvious.
guess. But, there's nothing around the coercion side, there's nothing around...
Exactly.
And like I said, this is why I started the podcast, to hopefully... I want to go into corporate settings with this sort of message, because obviously we've had a lot of issues in New Zealand around that sort of thing.
Oh, exactly.
If you think of...
like all the rugby teams.
Rugby teams, the law firm that's happened to, I won't say the name, but that's been a thing. But I also want to take it into schools.
Yeah.
Especially the consent side of things, because it's not spoken enough about, anywhere near enough.
No, I know. I mean,
And my biggest thing with it, sorry to interrupt,
No,
my biggest thing with it is we're teaching girls how to keep themselves safe. And, they've got to dress modestly, they've got to do this, that, and the other. No! We should be teaching the boys not to fucking do it!
Oh, exactly.
Not to treat women as a fucking object, or girls as an object. To show them complete and utter respect at any given time, because women are fucking goddesses.
Mm-hmm.
They really are. They're fucking amazing creatures.
Just reminded of Beyonce song. Fair enough.
Is it girls who are on as well?
Oh, yeah. But went for the patriarchy, like...
But this is how we should be treated. This is how we should be focusing our efforts, I think. Rather than saying, walk home with a friend, wear something modest. All of this sort of thing. Like, I work in an electronics store that sells personal alarms. You pull the string, the alarm goes off. Yeah. And we go through a lot.
Oh, really?
We go through a lot of them. Yeah. And I sit there every time someone buys one and go, that's fucking terrifying that you need that. Because we haven't pushed this out. I'll always say that there's going to be a rogue or two.
Well, yeah.
But it happens, especially in this country. I don't know about other countries. I don't read their media enough to know. But in this country, it happens far too often, where we hear about someone being groped in a club, even.
Oh, I get it all the time at work, man.
Yeah, yeah, of course, yeah.
Holy crap! You learn a lot about consent as a topless waiter. Mm-hmm. Holy crap! You learn a lot about consent.
So a lot of people grab you.
Oh, consistently. Like I get prodded and groped just about every night at work. And
how does that make you feel like?
Like sometimes it's fine and I can sort of just laugh it off.
But it'll get to a point, right?
Oh, it does get to a point.
Intrusive.
Oh, for sure. Like I can Yeah, I recall one particular instance where not meaning to sound uncouth, but a very obviously lesbian woman thought it was funny to spank me whilst I was bent over and throwing up an ice bucket. To which I spun around and it's like, I don't give a damn about your sexual orientation, you didn't ask first. And she sort of looked at me a little bit dumbfounded because I think that's probably the first time she'd been called out.
Yeah, I'd say so. And I'd say she'd done that more than once.
Oh, for sure. And, you know, that it's not on regardless as to, you know, the recipient of whom it is touched. Like, consent is consent and you can't just assume it.
Was she asked to leave after this, or did she stay?
No, she was not asked to leave.
See, now this is interesting to me, because I'm going to put the shoe on the other foot again. Okay. And we go, I was going to move it into a strip club, where a guy reaches up and touches, but those rules are clearly defined. But they shouldn't have to be, really. Well, no. If we're honest. But even if you just say a general club, I used to be a bouncer, but if I saw a guy, you know, grab a buttock or spank or whatever, and the girl didn't look like she wanted it, he was out. Oh yeah. There's no two questions about that. And I find it interesting that she wasn't removed. Was she apologetic?
Yeah, a little bit after some.
So at least that's something, because maybe you standing up to her is potentially, and I hope so, changed her mindset from doing that in the future.
Well, yeah, I mean, I would hope if anything it was at least a little bit educational for her.
Yeah.
But then, you know, there's also been other times, like at this particular club that I work at, they had, you know, waitresses in, you know, the whole corset and lingerie, which, you know, I guess the whole feel of the place is kind of like a cabaret club sort of a thing, which, you know, is fine, and most of the girls enjoy their job, but I do recall one of them goes down the bar and one of our waitresses chatting with the guy, it's fine, she turns around to go back to her business, and he grabbed her on the ass. She spun around and gave this, like, and she's a short woman, like, goddamn praise her for this. Like, she would have been, I don't know, at a glance, maybe 50 odd kilo, maybe 5.5 foot tall.
Right.
And this guy would have been sort of about my size, maybe another head tall, like a solid guy. And I'm what, 6'2" or so. Yeah. Spins around, sticks a finger in his face, and says, "Fuck off! You cannot do that without asking."
What was his response to that?
I think he might have pissed himself a wee bit.
Yeah, taken back a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned.
Oh, for sure. And you know, again, you know, young, attractive, small woman. I come over to her, I'm like, you know, is everything right? She's like, don't worry about it. I'm like, are you sure? Because, you know, I can understand if you were rattled after that, if you want to go outside for a smoke break or whatever, I can cover you for a minute, or even if you know, want to have a word with the bouncer and get the guy kicked out of here for being a jackass, totally fair enough.
Yeah, absolutely.
She's like, don't worry about it. I'll have a word with our bouncer and just carrying on. But yeah, again.
But she was fine.
She was fine.
So she's obviously a strong woman.
Oh, for sure.
She's had to deal with that before.
Exactly.
You could probably tell in that situation she's had to, and that.
But it's shit that she has had to.
That was going to be. Took the words right out of my mouth to quote Meatloaf. It's absolutely true. So just quickly, we're getting towards the end of this now. We've been talking for almost an hour. And
oh really?
Yeah.
I'm fine.
It does, and I say that every podcast as well. It just sort of flows on, and this is why my hour-long podcasts go for 90 minutes or 105 minutes, or
right,
and just sort of keep continuing on. So I want to go back. We've talked about your kink debut. I want to know about your sexual debut. How old were you?
Sexual debut.
And I use that term because it comes from an author called Mary Fisher, who didn't like the term losing your virginity because it sounds like you're losing a part of you, as opposed to making your sexual debut, which is a grand, exciting thing. Right. And I really like how that works.
No, that's good.
So,
good.
Yeah, when did you make your sexual debut?
Looking back now, way too young.
Way too young?
Way too young. I was 15.
You're older than me.
Oh, hey.
But
yeah, so I was a girlfriend of mine at the time in high school. You know, there'd been a bit of getting here and there, and it was cool. And sort of got to the point where like, okay, she was not a virgin, I was. So it was, I think it was sports day. So I forged a couple of permission letters so we could get the afternoon off. Went back to hers and shagged on the couch. So.
On the couch as well. How special?
Oh yeah, it was good.
So
a bit of afternoon delight.
You said very, very quickly there that it was far too early.
Yeah.
Why do you say that it was?
Because I don't think I was emotionally mature at the time. Like, knowing what I know now, I think the ideal age that I probably would have lost my virginity would have been somewhere in the realms of probably 18, 19. Then I would have known myself better sexually and emotionally, as well as being able to gauge a partner better at the time.
Yeah. So it's interesting you say that, because the average age of the virginity loss in New Zealand is 17 years. It's relatively old. In Iceland, it's 15. They have the lowest
on average.
in the world, on average. So if you think of how young they might be,
That's true.
it's kind of
getting younger here, though.
I'm certain it's getting younger. I swear. I walk through the local mall and there's 12, 13-year-olds wearing what 17, 18-year-olds used to when I was a baby, which is 10 years ago, sure. But I just sort of sit there and I go,
oh, you might want to slow down and actually enjoy childhood for a little bit.
Yeah,
longer
shit,
while
yeah.
you can.
Don't go and fuck yourself up
Yeah.
by doing something that you feel pressured to by your peers, by your friends. Because we are in a more sexually charged world. And a couple of episodes ago, I talked to a 19-year-old virgin.
Oh, right.
So that's around in this sexually charged world. That was an interesting dynamic and an interesting talk.
Yeah,
around that as well. So that was
make a point of listening to that.
yeah. So that's it's interesting that you say it was far too early in 18, 19. I think that's probably a better age.
Yeah.
So I was about 14.
Mm-hmm.
And looking back on that again, no way should I have done that. No way. It was a silly idea, and I broke up with the girl not long after.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it was okay. I got what I want. and again, like I said earlier, I was a fucking asshole.
Oh yeah.
And in my teens, all the way through till probably even 25, probably.
Oh yeah.
I was still mistreating women all over the place. It wasn't until I got involved in the kink scene actually that I sort of went, hang on.
Yeah. There's a better way to do this.
Yeah. And it was because of the people in the kink scene. There's a lot of strong-minded people, a lot of strong people in the kink scene that they go, if you do this, you're a fuckwit. And you sit there and go, well, I don't want to be a fuckwit.
Yeah, well.
I'm going to do this the proper way. And honestly, I'm all the better for it now. I used to be that guy who would be show me nudes, show me nudes, show me nudes, show me nudes.
Get in the boat.
Yeah.
You did that.
Yeah, exactly. And I won't ask for it.
Oh, no.
I'd still get sent a lot, but it's on their terms.
Yeah, for sure.
It's on their terms.
And it feels better receiving, a sex, as they call it, like a sexy man or a bit of dirty stuff. It feels better receiving that when it is on that partner's hands, I think.
Shit, yeah.
It's like, okay, cool. Like
this person actually really wants me. They're not
really
doing.
Wants to share this with
me.
me.
They don't feel forced to do it with me. Because it's their idea. Yeah, 100%. So the last thing that I want to talk about is you're dating someone who's a very strong feminist, Becky, and I love her for it. It's absolutely fantastic.
No, for sure.
Did you have the same mindset before dating Becky to what you do now around that sort of thing?
I guess I was already similarly inclined with largely being surrounded by women. I was raised by a solo mum for a good portion of my childhood. My closest sibling is my younger sister, who's 15. Scary because she's 15 and close. But anyway, Not only that, but I guess I generally seem to associate more with women purely because hashtag not all men, but a lot of men are just dicks.
Yeah, 100%, man. 100%.
Just dicks, which I guess in part already did enforce somewhat of a feminist in myself. But yeah,
you think it's been amplified?
No, without a doubt.
Because Becky is has really strong feelings about it, obviously, and rightly so.
Oh yes.
But I'll also say that she's the right kind. She's not somebody who's saying, obviously not because she's dating two men. I'm not anti-men. Or, I remember seeing one headline, one article a while ago about getting rid of the patriarchy. If they have boys going inside them to abort them straight away.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so it goes into that sort of depth. So this is why I say that.
Extreme.
Yeah, this is why I say that Becky's the right one.
Yeah, exactly.
She's around equity and equality rather than, for lack of a better term, special treatment.
Exactly.
And I've learned a lot from her through this as well. And obviously, she's a friend of mine. I haven't dated her or anything like that, but she's kept me in line when I've done things, when I've said things, and she'll go, "Hang on, shut the fuck up."
Pretty quick to pull you out on your shit.
Yeah, which is fantastic, and that's what I think the world needs more of that.
Oh yeah,
like you said, with the obviously lesbian person in the bar that you work at, in the pub that you work at, call them out on the shit and they'll think twice about doing it again. And that's what it comes down to. Is if you call people out, it's gonna make the world a better place. It will.
No, for sure.
Because people sit and go, I don't want to have to suffer that embarrassment again. And it's a lot better from that.
I can recall a previous instance where, you become the company you keep, and for sure, you definitely nurtured more of the feminist in me. So I guess a lot of that has been translating into my relationship with my peers in my construction job, who are very much the whole
very chauvinistic. Catcalling, etc.
I like hunting, misogyny, very much that sort of crowd. Which, I mean, that's their deal. I'm not going to stop them from living their life. Although I have been doing my best to try and educate them. I do recall a little bit of catcalling on site a while ago, and I work in a group with I think 4, occasionally 5 other guys. All sort of mid-20s through to mid-30s or so. And I sort of just spun around and was like, just take a moment. Oh, sorry, someone made a rape joke. And I was like, can we just think about that for a minute and say, how do you mean? I was like, well, you guys are all fathers, right? Yeah. You all have daughters, right? Yeah. Well, hate to say it, but statistically, 1 in every 3 women will be sexually violated at some stage. And there's comments like that allow that to happen. And he was blown away.
Just absolutely dumbfounded.
I was like, well, sorry to say it, bud, but if that behaviour continues, it normalises behaviour like that.
Absolutely. On that note, I've kept you for over an hour now.
Oh, wow. It's a pleasure.
You do have somewhere to be probably in about 10 minutes or so, I think.
Oh, God, what is it?
25-2.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Yeah. But I don't want to keep you over time. I don't want you to make you late for your next appointment, for lack of a better term.
Well, it's exactly that. Ironically enough, we're here talking about sex, and I'm on my way to get a sexual health checkup soon. So.
Yeah, so you get it quarterly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same every 3 months. Just to keep it ticking over. Make sure that everything's fine.
I mean, I'm fairly certain that things are fine, but I mean, it
always pays to make sure, right?
Always pays to be sure. And, especially if you're in equal partners, which
absolutely.
Then it just helps keep everyone safe.
Absolutely.
And if you have a peace of mind in yourself and your own confidence, if you do choose to have any sexual endeavours, you can be fairly sure on that front.
Get yourself checked, people.
Exactly.
Always get yourself checked. Thank you very much for coming in, spending this hour with me. It's been fantastic. It's been very quickly done because we only spoke a couple of days about you coming in and doing this.
Yeah, so leave it right, but I think it went well.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I sent you through. I got through pretty much everything I wanted to.
Yeah.
So again, thank you very much for coming in.
Hey, man,
very much appreciated. Yeah, thank you. So there we go. That was the interview with Pricey. Thank you very much to him for coming in. Really good chat, I thought. I've changed a couple of things up while going through the process. This was the first time with the second mic, and also my first time interviewing a male as well. So that was interesting during my editing process and everything, and learning a whole bunch of different things through that kind of thing as well. So yeah. Thank you very much to Jordan. Thank you very much to everybody who's listening to the A-Slut podcast today. Or whenever you listen to it. Just remember you can listen out to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, basically anywhere you like. And you can always contact me on the Twitters, on the Facebook, via email as well. And yeah, thank you once again very much for listening, and I will see you guys next week. Bye now.